When I'm world building, it's the place that came, with this book it came first to me, and then after that I build in the technology, and I kind of imagine the character being in that setting, and I try and see through the character's eyes and think about what they would be seeing as they kind of walk down the street, and that's how I build the world generally. I didn't really have a social life. I tended to just do my work in the day, and then in the evenings I'd be writing. So I was just splitting my time quite forcibly like that. I wasn't really doing a lot of going out partying or anything like that. So yeah, I kind of wasn't that sociable, but it was worth it because I had this idea and I wanted to write it. So. It is a lot of pressure to be writing 6 more books, and especially when you want to make them as good as the first book and you don't want to start declining. The way I approach my planning is that I kind of have what I call the flesh and bones process. So I know the skeletal structure of the whole series. I know what happens at the beginning, middle and end of each of the books. But I like to kind of let them write themselves in a way, because I think it takes the fun out of writing if you know exactly what's going to happen in each chapter. So I know what's going to happen, but I also want to let my protagonist kind of tell her own story and create her own story at the same time. I think Emily Dickinson is my favourite poet, and her and John Donne, who's another one of my big influences, I felt that they had a really interesting view of like the kind of the threshold between life and death. That was the kind of the thing I was concentrating on, and how kind of life and death blur together. So that was a big inspiration for the idea of like a spirit world. And Emily Dickinson uses these like fantastic metaphors sometimes, like a screw of flesh, like kind of metal and flesh. And that to me kind of inspired me to think about like the transience of mortality, like in comparison to immortality. So a lot of it is to do with like immortality, and death is how Emily Dickinson inspired me. I was really puzzled by my use of the word turned. It was just, the thing is about writers' tics is that you just don't notice them, and they do tend to be words that are almost like invisible, like not very noticeable words. I have no idea why I rely on that word so strongly. When my editor pointed it out, it had been used 4 times in a paragraph. I was just completely thrown by it. I was not expecting it at all, but I have no idea. Maybe I like turning. I don't know. Well, I'm trying to reduce my use of it, yeah. I'm more aware of the word turned now than I was, so I'm just trying to limit myself. But no doubt another word will spring up in the second book that I've been using a lot, so.